right, here is a acoustic version, my version at least, of the song Resonate. Really feeling it, putting together a house band, the Resonate house band, coming to rehearse technically today because it's past midnight and I'm just putting in the work, working on these songs. They need some power, and it's been a long time since I've on the edge of screaming while also singing and going in between screaming and singing. Some of you notice Screamo, you know? If you know, you know. And so I think I need to, it's been a while since I mainly listen to very peaceful music, and I like to study film scores, and I listen to podcasts and books and nerdy things like that. As far as what I listen to, because I do a lot of music here all day. So, man, I'm gonna have to really channel that rage, that angst, that rebellious attitude towards the patterns and the programs of this world. And instead, I want to be transformed by the renewing of my mind and the lifting of my voice. And sometimes you need to shout. And it's hard for me to shout. My story is, there's a lot of resistance in what I'm doing right now, using my voice. And that's why I've got songs like Rooftops and this song called Resonate. These are very declarative songs from a deep place within my heart, and shared with others who've collaborated with me and people I've, shared the song with. Really resonate with these messages of feeling voiceless. Hope is Calling. That's another song we're going to be meeting early next week to work on all the scenes and the places where we're going to be doing, like the flash mob, for example. So I'm really excited to be sharing those details. But this is really tough for me, you guys. That's why I'm doing it. I tell people all the time, hey, do the uncomfortable thing until it's comfortable, and then find something else to get uncomfortable at, and then the alchemy of developing yourself. The artist development journey is what I've been on. So I want to share the song Resonate. I'll be honest, I listened to a couple of takes I just did before this video, and I deleted one. That's what's coming up for me. I don't really like my voice very much, to be honest. I know there's other artists that struggle with that too, but you know what? It's the content of the words. So there's going to be other singers that are going to be sharing the songs that I've been writing. It's already starting to happen. Some of my students stepping up. And so I'm excited to hear the songs that I've been stewarding with, the voice that I've got, to just keep them memorized, and the ability to just present the song with my own vessel. I think that's the work of an artist. I'm a story keeper, a song keeper of sorts. I've got lots of songs memorized. Most of them are songs that have come through my own vessel. I've written and filled up many pages of journals, mostly of lyrics. And, for me, the test is like, all right, how many songs do I have memorized? And so this is my process. I just go through singing it multiple different ways. I've been in here like emo, screaming, and doing the ugly. There's nobody here, so I've had a time. And it's vulnerable, even when you're by yourself. If I'm being honest, it's vulnerable to lift your voice. And to be honest, I like being quiet. I like that I can just work on music and work on other people's projects. I'm getting to that phase in my music journey where I'm really happy to be of service to others. And I am. All day I'm of service in the studio, supporting families and, the Our Town Creative Academy clients that work with me here. And it's amazing. But as far as my artistry, it's easier for me to be like, I've already recorded it. And a lot comes up, when I go to get the guitar or the piano, because I've done it so much and there's so much energy in it. And I don't know if I've gotten any better. I've memorized more songs for whatever it's worth. And, I'm not the best composer. I'm not the best songwriter. I'm really not. I'm probably really basic. My chord choices are always very simple. The melodies, I try to make them really memorable and also interesting. I try. And then the words, that's really, I'm using music and melodies, the best ability that I've got to encode hopefully something memorable that will bring you to the words and the meaning of the words, the energy behind the meaning of the words is the invitation. So all these songs that are going to be coming out one after another, they're all anthems and declarative songs and also invitations to life. So this song, Resonate, I think is more of a declaration of what a sovereign, especially a young person. This whole song was inspired by thinking of like, hey, imagine if you're not, like I'm not a teenager anymore, but I remember what it was like. I was an angsty teenager that had lots to say. And so I want to be able to create an outlet where teens, that's what Resonate is, as a citywide, youth mic night ministry to be able to empower artists, youth artists of the Southwest. And so we wanted an anthem that came out of Tucson, came out of the birth of this original offering that just really clicked one thing after another to bring Resonate to life. And so I'm really grateful to see it just flowing and just the way we've envisioned it, just like, hey, let's keep it simple. Let's allow there to be a curated group of young people that can share and have their peers and a community of people supporting them and feeling encouraged and they will look forward to sharing more, hopefully over time, and they'll get better and they'll feel more confident and inspired and all the things that being in community and sharing art does for a human soul. So with no further ado, this sermon always includes a song. And when you check in with Mr. Corey Sermons, it always includes a song. And if I forget, you can always send me a message or a comment and make sure to remind me, hey, you owe me a song. If I sing you a song, can I tell you a story? If I tell you a story or I give you, an update or a message that feels good, I feel like I've got to earn it. You gotta, if you're in the relationship with the audience, in this case, whoever's watching this, thank you so much, by the way. I really appreciate you tuning in. Time is precious, and I really want to make it count, you guys. Just full transparency and in honesty. I'm not, maybe I'm not the best at all these things I'm trying to do, but I would really love to inspire some people to help me out. Building an arc of sorts. And it's time for a new testament. It's literally time for us to, those of you who have prophetic gifts, who have artistic gifts, you have songs, you have stories, you have books, you have, the Holy Spirit's been flowing through you with divine messages or visions for a film or anything that needs to be created and produced. Seven Sound & Co. Media Group, we're here for you, and there's more of us. So tap in, make sure you check out our website, sevensound.co. Check out our Instagram. It just keeps getting better and better. I'm so proud of our team. Lady Maven, Captain Kelly, the three of us are quite a dynamic trio. As co-managers, co-founders, co-stewards of Seven Sound & Co. Media Group, each of us has our own individual companies that we all pay taxes on. And then we have an additional entity that we all co-steward together as partners because we all bring such unique skills to the table. If you say, hey, multimedia, telebroadcast communication company, creative production, record label, all these things, you can't do that by yourself. Trust and believe, all those things I just said. You, whoever you are watching this, I don't care who you are, you can't do that by yourself. I promise you. There's just not enough time. You need a high impact and low maintenance team to be able to help you execute. And that's what I'm really grateful for. And it's an answer to prayer. These soul sisters from other misters are family. We cooperate like family. The family of God, like the kingdom of heaven, where inside trust, where there's no illusions, there's no lies, there's no deceit. There's no dishonor. There's no disrespect. There's just kindness and support and friendship and, a lot of magic. What I mean by magic is not an illusion or a trick. I mean, love, intentionality, things that would cause someone to come out of their spell. A state of amnesia where they would feel like it's okay to be hateful or to be separate from someone out there, or to send missiles or to send threats of killing mass amounts of people or genocide. Any of these things are completely out of the question. They're not. It's not on the table. That's not what we're doing. We're rising above the temptation to be hateful because we're not separate from one another, are we? So if we're not separate from one another, if I'm talking to, Christ-conscious believers, Bible-believing people out there, then you know that we are the body of Christ. To put it more plainly, all of us in a big huddle, human beings all in one big huddle, would be the body of humanity. There's the body, one body, all of us hugging in one. Doesn't that feel nice to think about all of us in a big huddle? That would be really nice, one big hug. I mean, that's how I imagine all of us when we rise from hate and we elevate and resonate with what's present right in front of us, which is every human soul that we interact with on a daily basis is a miracle. Every one of us that are alive is living proof in real time in every moment that miracles are here and now. You watching this message, prove to me that you're not a miracle and I will wait. You couldn't possibly convince me otherwise because I know it in my soul. I resonate because that's what this message is about. That's what this ministry is about. To me, it's a ministry. To others, it'll just be a youth mic night. Whatever it is to people. But I just want whoever's watching this to hear the intention from me as it's being birthed and being brought to life. I've brought many things to life, many ideas that have come from my mind into my heart where I feel it, and then it gets brought into the living world. Which is why I'm compelled to share these messages in hopes that it could help somebody, especially those curious about the create and produce process. But although in a cerebral way, you can know something to be true because it makes sense. It's logically true. It sounds good. People they text. They say, sounds good, because there's something about what you heard that feels groovy. It feels like music to me. It's like, oh, that sounds good. That feels right. And you go take it a step deeper. You say, okay, the feeling in my body, in my cells, all the way down to a molecular level, resonant truth is where I feel it. I don't need anybody to convince me of anything, and it doesn't matter what anyone says because I already know. I'm not guessing, and I'm not saying that I already know everything. That's not what I'm claiming. By any means, from my view, love and the experience of consciousness is like the ocean. You can just take your pick of how much you could possibly explore. You can just explore the sea. And more on that idea later of exploring love and consciousness like an ocean, imagining that that's what it's like when you go into your imagination. There are no boundaries, there's no limits, at least to what is relevant to you and to your knowledge. There's no limits. That's what you need to know as a little speck of a created being out here amongst this much larger picture. And that's what I want to encourage the next generation to say, hey, I didn't always have this advice and affirmation presented to me of hey, Corey, you should trust your inner voice because it's God speaking to you. And you should trust your instincts and your intuition, because you always know at the end of the day. And when you don't trust that little still small voice that's speaking to you, and it's the whisper of God, it's the whisper of your creator, your maker, trying to communicate with you from the inside out. But if you are stuck in a dense reality, your diet, your food intake, like, it's even Jesus says it's not what goes into the mouth of a man that defiles him, it's what comes out of his mouth that defiles him. So it's always getting down to the heart of the matter. So if you're in a dense reality because of trauma that you haven't let go of, and you're not able to be present with what is right in front of you, the most important thing to be paying attention to, and you don't know because you're living unconscious. You're not living Christ conscious, which is present with love in every single moment at all times. To me, that's the way I have received the gift of Christ. And I'm saying that's what was being asked of me, is go and be, and go and do greater things. So this right here is an example of greater things than even Yeshua experienced when he was alive. And I think if these phones and these screens and the ability to capture his likeness, the Sermon on the Mount is dope. This could reach an endless amount of souls and ears and eyeballs in perpetuity forever. So, I roll the dice and say, hey, maybe no one will see this. It'll be in the archive of nothingness into the sea of forgetfulness. Or, it reaches who it's meant to. At the very least, it's reaching me, because I'm just here looking at a reflection of myself, and I am letting myself open my stream of consciousness and process through a message. Is it memorized? Kind of. For many years, I've practiced, the cadence of what is in my heart, and discovering, like, hey, if I just tapped into what's in my heart, what do I want to say? Not really researching a lot. I spent seasons where I researched a lot, and what I was curious of, I was like, at this point, it's not that I'm not, of course I still research things, but my curiosity is more, I want to know what's going on inside of me. And I wasn't told that it's okay to trust your emotions, trust your feelings. Don't trust your feelings, trust God. That right there, that sort of speech and programming is very dangerous, because it's so unbelievably confusing. If you are a meditative, present, maybe sparkly person, like some of us out here, everything you hear has meaning. And small talk and little word salads don't work. It's just off the table. Talk to us like we see right through you, and we hear everything, and in a nanosecond, someone like me, I'm literally pursuing every moment of my life the truth. Music is the truth. It's what feels resonant. You can tell when something's harmonized because you can feel it. And you can tell by the way it sounds. And if you applied the principles of resonance, which is what guides a finished work, for example, an audio recording or a song production or a movie or whatever. And I'm not saying I've produced lots of movies, but as far as what goes into the create and produce process of multimedia, that is something that I'm very familiar with, and I'm dedicating my life to. So I share that with you to say, if you are one that is empathetic and you are here paying attention, these messages really are for you. You are my target audience, and I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to get a comment from you, a direct message to let me know that you're hearing, you're picking up what I'm putting down. So I'm going to keep these kind of studio sermons inside 20 minutes. And then I will have a song to share. This will be on another playlist on my YouTube channel, probably micro clips. And if you're seeing this in social media, make sure you see the full version on my YouTube channel. Check that out. And I'm, stepping in. My little nephew was excited. He saw my music video for the first time and said, "Uncle Corey, how come you didn't tell me you're a YouTuber?" I was like, I'm not really. I guess I'm a YouTuber. To a 4-year-old, I'm a YouTuber. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. If any of this resonates, please reach out and make sure you get your ears on this Resonate song and really feel from my heart to yours, a group of us that made this to you, and tell me what you think about this song.